And back behind those horses, I Am Unstoppable. Osmosis at the clock tower, led by a length to Shinzo Arkansas Kid, and I Am Unstoppable is running on. The leader, Osmosis, with 50 metres to go. Osmosis is clear and will take it out.
All right, mate. Caulfield Cup. Okay, we're going balls deep. We're sorting the pretenders from the contenders as we do every spring. Now, I'll quickly go through the speed map punters for those who enjoy that sort of thing. Leaders should be Deny Knowledge and Duke de Sessa. Sayadati Saturday and Land Legend probably sit behind them, as does Elias, if Elias wants to push even more forward, but has to use a bit more petrol to get further forward. And then you'll have your Buckaroos, Circle of Fires, Miramasa, Young Werter, and just about the rest of the field going 2 pairs back all the way. And then rearing up the end of the field will be your Huertas, your Warmongers, your Knights Choices. Some key facts and stats for you punters as well, if you like to get into this sort of thing. In the last 16 years, 5 favourites have won. But in the last 30 years, only 5 females have won. Since 2008, keeping with the 5 theme, 5 internationally trained horses have won. That doesn't include, your Without a Fights, who originally were trained internationally and then became Australian trained. They're pure imports. In the last 14 years, 4-year-olds have won. And then also 9 winners in the last 14 years have jumped from double-digit barriers. So don't worry too much about the wide barriers in the Caulfield Cup punters. More often than not, a wider barrier horse actually does get the job done. We'll get straight into it, mate. Number 1, the one horse, Calipore, Ben Melham to ride, Keith Lee, geez, that's a wrestler. Chris Lees trains, barrier 4, 100 to 1, pretender or contender.
Yeah, pretender. We'll get that one straight out of the way.
Yeah, only positives is that he's going to get the trip. We know he's going to stay the trip and doesn't mind wet tracks. It's meant to be wet in Melbourne on Saturday, so keep that in mind, punters. Still can't see him winning, so pretender. The number 2 horse, your $4.20 favourite at time of recording, Buckaroo, Yao Morera, Chris Waller from barrier 8, contender or pretender, mate?
Contender, one of the leading ones, has been pretty faultless this prep, finishing just a nose behind Visa Stina. Looked like he was going to chase her down. Yeah, genuine contender. I don't see how anyone can rule him out.
Yeah, look, one of the leading contenders in my mind, as is everyone's mind. He's been an absolute stud this prep, just doing everything that he needs to do since he's had his nuts chopped off. He's a completely different horse. He's only just gotten beaten by a lip by one of the best horses in the country in Via Sestina. Draws perfectly. If he gets a clear run late, I think it'll be very hard to run down if he really gets motoring. If he hits top speed, good luck catching him in my mind.
Fair enough.
We move to the 3 horse, Circle of Fire. John Allen to ride, Kieran Maher trains. Barrier 13, currently paying $35 to win, $7.50 to place. What are your thoughts?
I've seen weirder things, but pretender. I've seen weirder things happen than to see this horse win. I just think there's better options in this race, and I don't want to give everyone contender status. But yeah, pretender for me. I think there's just better ones to go at, but the barrier does help.
Yeah, I'm going contender here. I think he's one of the roughies that wouldn't surprise me if he won here. You'll see pretty quickly. I have 4 top real chances, and then there'll be a few roughies that I'll say that won't surprise me. Hence, I've given them contender. This is one. You'd think it's probably still the final tune-up before a Melbourne Cup, but we know he's going to get the distance. He loves these handicap cup-style races, as we saw in the autumn. So, yeah, I think he's one of the roughies that could potentially get the job done here. Would love to see his price for potentially running, top 5 to 10. Some bookies do like to put that out. I'll say that for a few horses. He's one that I'd like to see. Number 4, Warp Speed. Not even going to bother trying to pronounce those trainer and jockey names because they're very, very much so Japanese, and I don't want to come off insensitive. Barrier 19, $26 to win, $5.75 to place. Mate, what are your thoughts?
No, I don't think so. I think there's better options. Yeah. It's tough. I do like my international ones that come through, but no, it can't be mine.
Contender for me, he's Japanese. It's basically all you need to know about him in these sort of races. They often produce some of the best stays in the world over there, and considering they've brought the full Japanese team over, put a jockey on that knows him well, hometown jockey, it certainly scares me. He just needs to find a bit of cover from that car park draw, and he can figure in the finish. A couple of pretenders coming up for me here, but I'll ask you your thoughts on the 5 horse, Poeta.
Yeah, we'll skip over that guy. No chance.
Can't see him turning the tables on Buckaroo, which is the case for a few of these here. We move to number 6, Warmonger. Mickey D to ride. Price and Kent train, barrier 16, $15 to win, $3.75 to place.
This is an interesting one, I think. I'm a bit surprised it's come out at this price, honestly.
Surprised in a good way or a bad way? Is it shorter or longer than you thought?
I think it's shorter than if it was up in the 20 to 25s, I'd probably look at it and go, yeah, look, contender, but at that price, I can't have it.
Fair enough.
I think you look at some of the other horses that have been put at that price. I think this, I don't think at that price I just can't have it. Well, not for me.
I'm thinking very similar things here. I've said Pretender purely because is he a good horse? Yes. Has he been set for this race? Yes. Is he ready to peak and put in a prep best performance? Of course. But I think the barrier draw's just done him in here. That barrier 16, he's either going to go right to the back and have to make up 15 lengths going around the turn, or he's going to have to push forward and he's probably going to be caught wide doing that. And he usually isn't really a leader anyway, so he'll be out of his depth, say, as a leader there. So off that setup, I think the negatives outweigh the positives, and I have to say Pretender, especially with that price, like you said. Now we get to a very interesting horse in the field here. Number 7, Elias. Tim Clark rides here instead of being in Sydney for the Everest. Gay Waterhouse, Adrian Bott trained. The only really interesting thing about this horse, Nick, is he's gotten barrier 21.
Yeah, could have killed it, really, I think. It was a good chance. Had it, I think we got 26.
We got $26 loaded up.
Yeah, I backed it a couple of weeks ago. Futures $26 for the Caulfield Cup. So look, I'll be hoping really, really closely that he wins. But he is a contender. But yeah, that barrier just is worrying, man. Like any other barrier, like put him in like the 15, like 16 and under, I would have been like, yeah, okay, he can do it. 21, it's gonna have to be perfect. He's gonna have to be perfect.
Yeah, I thought it was his race to lose until that barrier draw.
It was always going to happen, a top chance. It was either going to be Elias or it was going to be Buckaroo that's going to get that outside barrier. We'll wait and see. I guess,
he was my top horse going into this until the barrier draw. He still is one of the top chances. He just isn't my top chance. The good thing is, though, he doesn't have a lot of speed drawn on the inside of him, and he does have some speed himself, so he should be able to get over without using too much petrol. Does he get all the way to the front of them? I don't think so. He should be 1, 2, maybe 3 pairs back, but fingers crossed he doesn't get posted wide. Tim Clark here, instead of being in Sydney on Everest Day, clearly shows that he's very confident in it, clearly shows that Waterhouse is very confident in it. He won't scoff at a wet track as well, which is a good thing to know. The only query is the 2,400 metres. Can he run it? Gay says he can. I'll trust her. So if he can run it out, he'll be right in the thick of things, I think, later on in the race. Number 8, Land Legend. Zach Purton comes over from Hong Kong to ride. Again, World Pool race, I believe. Expect this horse to probably shorten on the day because all the Hong Kong people will be getting on it. Jumps from barrier 1, the complete opposite to Elias.
Yeah, genuine contender. I think that win last start in front of Zardozi at the 2,400 was impressive. Zach Purton, absolute world class. One of the top contenders, Land Legend.
Yeah, can make the distance. Tick. Gets Zach Purton. Tick. Gets inside barrier. Tick. Has best staying form in the country right now. Tick. Just needs to not get posted going down the straight to be a serious threat in the finish in my mind. Certainly a big contender, but I will say if you like him, take the $9 now. I can't see him starting $9 when the World Pool starts to get involved. Number 9, Young Verta. Jai McNeil will ride. O'Brien trained barrier 10, $21 to win currently.
I like it. This is one of my rougher chances. I'm going to go contender here. I got to put a couple in, and it's form. Running at this distance is a positive for me, and has shown that it can get it done in different weather formats. So, yeah, good chance for me.
Fair enough, mate. I'm saying Pretender. Look, comes with good form, good barrier, good setup, but he just can't go in the wet. And if it does end up soggy, I think that rules it out for him. So number 10, Duke de Sessa. Coffee rides, Mayor Train, barrier 6, currently $18 to win.
Yeah, contender, another roughy chance. I think everyone's kind of on the same page with this one. Been running pretty well. Obviously, 2 lengths behind Via Sistina and Buckaroo is great form to go off. So you watch, you're watching, you'll see. But I definitely put that in your exotics.
Yeah, I think he's going to fly under the radar for a lot of people. He's definitely a contender in my mind, especially since it could favour leaders if it did last weekend. I mean, he's going to be close to being the leader, so it would not shock me whatsoever. Contender Duke de Sessa. Number 11, Knight's Choice. Robbie Dolan's going to ride out of barrier 14, 126 to 1.
How did Robbie Dolan get a ride?
How did this horse get in the field? Next. That's all I've gotten written down there. Pretender, massive pretender.
Yeah, we'll skip that. Next, Muramasa.
Yes, number 12, Muramasa. Barrier 5, $23 to win.
Pretender. I just think, just not really showing me too much at the distance. His run there before came 6th out of 8th, military mission 1, and it fell 8 lengths behind. And this field is way better than that.
Yeah, he's the one that I'm most afraid of saying it's a pretender, as he's in good form, but I just don't think he'll run out the trip, like you said.
He ran at the 1,500 and the 1,800. I don't know.
He's the one I'm most scared of, but I'm labeling him a pretender. 13, we get to Zardozi. Andre Azteni to ride. Cummings trained, of course, out of barrier 12, $7.50 to win. Contender or pretender, Nick?
Contender. I like Zardozi. Is it an Italian jockey?
I think that's where he's from. He came over in the autumn, and I'm pretty sure he rode Circle of Fire in the win.
I'm pretty sure he's out of Hong Kong.
Or maybe he is. Maybe
he's Italian, but I think he's out of Hong Kong. That's what I think personally. Yeah, Zardozi looks good, man. Yeah, that was a great run. Last start behind Land Legend. I thought I had it there. I thought I was getting right ahead of you in the tip off.
Mm-hmm.
But just couldn't get it done in the end. But 51 kilos. I'm licking my lips, honestly. Some of these, I know there's not a lot, but there's not a lot of high end weights, but 51 is pretty light.
Yeah, contender. She's the best staying female in the country at the moment, you'd have to say.
Yeah.
Unless you, for some reason, count Via Sistina as a stayer, but I don't.
Probably get it done.
She could get another well-deserved Group 1 here. Could have and should have arguably won the Metropolitan, whatever your thoughts on that protest was. But her and Land Legend gapped the rest of the field. So it's great form here. She's going to be absolutely fit and firing. Nice middle draw. The rain's only going to help her chances. I think she is the one to beat here, Zardozi. As we move to 14, Coco Sun on the backup from last weekend. Out of barrier 20, $46 to win. Thoughts, Nick?
No chance.
Yeah, gave nothing last week. And then the nail in the coffin was the barrier, surely. But to be fair, she's carrying feathers. Yeah,
we'll wait and see. I don't see that happening. Deny Knowledge, the winner against Brightside.
Yes, another one on the week back up. Number 15, Deny Knowledge, $10 to win. Barrier 17, will she be able to use the same tactics out of barrier 17?
I don't know. What did it run at last week? Probably pretty high.
You mean price-wise?
No, weight-wise, I'm thinking.
Weight-wise? She dropped 7 kilos from last week.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big to come off a week back up and get 7 kilos. I just don't know. I think I'm going to have to put it as a contender. It beat Mr. Brightside, who a lot of people calling him moral. One of the best bets of the year, apparently. So, can't rule it out. I think dropping 7 kilos is massive for the horse.
Yeah, I agree with you. Contender, only negative is she seems to hate the wet, so she'll have to overcome that. But who knows? We've seen crazier things. She managed to do it last week. Maybe she manages to do it again this week. Number 16, Valiant King. Barrier 18, 100 to 1 to win. Thoughts, Nick?
Nah, we'll go on.
Won't win. I will say is overs, and you should probably find some good prices on the bookies that utilise those top 6 to 10 markets. If you can find it over $2, $3 for your top 8, I say take that. But is better suited to a Melbourne Cup. Number 17, Positivity. Gee, Winona Costin, Caulfield Cup winner, would certainly be a fun thing to see. It's currently paying $35 to win. Is it a pretender or a contender in your eyes?
Pretender.
I'm going to say contender. Seriously good form leading into this. Perfectly set up for this race. Again, not the worst roughie by a long way. It's one of those roughies that wouldn't shock me. I think Winona Costin being on it and winning would shock me more than this horse winning would be. Again, go shopping. Try and find some top 10 prices for this horse if you can find it. I think she has a great chance to be running in the top 10 in this race. Then we come to number 18, Sayadati Satday. Ben Thompson will ride out of barrier 2, $15 to win.
Yeah, Not for me. I like better chances. Yeah, Pretender.
Yeah, and I'm going to say Contender just because Europe. These European imports, you never know what they're going to do here. You got to give them a fair chance off of that. And then, look, you have Fancy Man, Berkshire Breeze, Francesco Guardi as your 3 emergencies. Personally, I only see Francesco Guardi as a chance out of those 3 if they get a start, but he's not going to, considering he's the 3rd emergency. Any thoughts on the emergencies, mate?
None of them are getting a run.
Yeah, okay. So, tell me, Nick, out of all of that, who are you on and why?
Zardozi for me.
Dick.
I wanted Elias, but Barry there. I've got the ticket for the futures, so I'll take Zardozi for the tip-off. I just think she gets it done. She's looked awesome. $7.50 for the win. Zardozi for me.
That's a carbon copy of what I was going to say. I was on Elias until that barrier draw, so Zardozi comes swooping on in to
switch?
take my thing. Nah, Zardozi. I think she can get the job done here.
She's a horse
She is a dog, and I've backed her too many times to not back her here. Who's your first 4 across the line?
First 4 across the line, I'll go Zardozi. I'll go Elias. And I'll chuck 2 roughies in as well, just to make it a little bit different. I'll go Young Werther. And I'll put Land Legends in there. Land Legend as well.
Fair enough. Mine's quite boring. I said that my top 4 chances were quite boring. It's Zardozi, Buckaroo to run 2nd, Elias to run a narrow 3rd, and then Land Legend to come 4.
Yeah,
They're the top 4 most premier stayers in the country. I know there'll be probably a roughie sticking its head in there somewhere, but those are my top 4 chances, so I'll make that my first 4.